Howdy, folks. Heems Thornbeard here of Clan McHugh Gaming, resident folk hero in Heldorf. Um, Today we're going to be talking about multiclassing in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Uh, we're going to start with something simple, Barbarian Cleric multiclass. This is by no means optimized. There are some wonderful folks out there who do optimization builds. That is not what this is. This is all about flavor, that thing that you really want to play. Um, so we're going to be doing a Thor build today, and we're going to go more, let's say, post Ragnarok. Um, so, obviously, as a player, this is going to take a long time to build up to. But as a DM, if you want to use this as an NPC or something like that, you can just, bam, throw them down at 20th level and you got yourself a Thor. But we're going to be using the Player's Handbook, aka PHB, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, also known as XGTE, and Volo's Guide to Monster for our race. So, having said that, we're going to jump right in by going over to Volo's, and we are going to pick up the Protector Asmar. Gives us a flight ability. For 1 minute, we can fly up to 30 feet. And then it gives us a +1 to our wisdom on top of all the other basic racial stuff that the Asmars get, which is really cool. And the +1 will help us with our cleric levels later on. But we're going to start out by going Barbarian from Xanathar's. We're going to pick up the Primal Path of the Storm Herald. And with that, when we hit 3rd level, we are going to take the Storm Aura of the Sea, which gives us a bonus action that deals a little bit of lightning damage. So A, it's typed for lower levels, and B, it gives us something to do with a bonus action and a bonus action to spend, period. Then we're going to follow that all the way up to 6th level, where we're going to gain our second ability from our Primal Path, which is the Storm Soul, which is a passive ability. We, again, are going to take the sea as our choice here. There's, I believe it's, what is it, Desert, Tundra, and Sea, I want to say. But we're going to stick with sea for this one just because of the flavor. So what this does is it gives us resistance to lightning damage, Thor, a swim speed of 30 feet, which is cool. I mean, if you've ever had to swim in Dungeons and Dragons, especially when you're wearing heavy armor, that sort of thing, it can be a real bear. And maybe you're not proficient in athletics. I mean, I think if you're building a Thor character, you probably are. But that aside, the last thing it gives us is water breathing, which is super cool and super useful. At least in my experience, again, for the same reason, let's see here. Then we're going to go on to Cleric, where we're going to pick up the Tempest domain. And all of this kind of depends really on your DM. This is something that's very important for anybody, but especially when you want to do a very specific build. You need to talk to your DM and explain to them, hey, this is what I envision this character being, or this is what I'd like to play, and then whether or not that's going to fit into that play style or that campaign. That usually one shots are pretty loosey goosey, but it's got to be something that fits, right? Anyway, back to our story. We're going to take the Tempest the rest of the way, which is going to give us a lot of thematic spells. It's going to give us, let me see here. I'll edit this down just while I look it up. Pretend like I have my book ready. Let's see. Oh, background is something I didn't even cover. But I mean, again, probably just throw Sailor or something in there. Most people don't get too into their background. Or Folk Hero. Folk Hero is definitely fitting. Let's see here. Cleric. Warlock, too far. Sorcerer, still too far. Monk, good. Here we go. All right, yeah. So divine domains, knowledge, nature, tempest. All right. So we're gonna get proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor, which we already have from. Well, we have the proficiency in martial weapons from barbarian, but we're gonna gain that heavy armor proficiency with this, which means that we don't at this point need to have a super high con unless we want to, unless you want to run around, armorless, which most depictions of Thor, he is wearing heavier armor, or at very least medium armor. So again, flavor, but this takes away that need for high con, so you can focus more on your wisdom and your strength. But first level, we get Wrath of the Storm, which is essentially like the Tiefling's ability to Hellish Rebuke. We can now do it with lightning. Again, Thor. Super cool. And then from here on out, we're just going to want to pick anytime we have, a choice of spells and stuff. We're going to want to take thunder or lightning damage. We get the extra spells: Fog Cloud, Thunder Wave, Gust of Wind, Shatter, Call Lightning, Sleet Storm, Control Water, Ice Storm, Destructive Wave, and then Insect Plague. For some reason, we're just going to ignore that. But that's not until 9th level. Let's see here. We also get our Channel Divinity, which allows us to, at 2nd level, maximize any damage we deal with thunder or lightning. Now, the thing to remember about Channel Divinity is that it does have a cooldown. It's not something you can do every turn. So this is kind of like your big, bring the hammer down moment, right? And we can even use it on our reaction ability to deal the max of that 2d8 lightning or thunder damage on our reaction to just whack somebody for 16 damage that decides to hit us. I mean, last ditch, you're out of spell slots, that kind of thing. Again, this is not super optimized, so we're not really worrying too much about that. Let's see here. From there, we're going to go all the way up to at 8th level is kind of where we're going to stop going from the PHB, because we're only going up to 14th level with Cleric, because we already have 6 levels of Barbarian. But at 8th level, you get your Divine Strike, which allows you to add thunder damage, extra thunder damage to any attack you make. And then at 14th level, it actually goes up to 2d8 instead of the single d8 you get at 8th level. But I think that pretty much covers it. As far as feats go, we probably at some point are going to need to take an ASI or ability score increase, just to kind of buff anything, depending on if you rolled or if you went point buy or standard array. I've had a lot of different DMs that prefer those more standardized, and it kind of keeps the playing field even. But if we're doing that, we're definitely going to need an ASI to bump either wisdom or strength, just to make ourselves hit a little harder, either with the magic side or with the weapons. Then I definitely recommend taking Elemental Adept at least once. We're not missing out on any feats here, because we have one from Barbarian when we hit 4th level, and then the other 3 we're going to get from Cleric at our 4th level in that, our 8th level in that, and our 12th level in that. But that'll bring us up to, then when we hit 14, we'll be 20th level. We do lose a couple things on the top end. Again, we don't get those 9th level. I think it only goes up to 7th level spell slots, but it's not terrible. Plus, we have that Barbarian Rage to offset it. So there you go. Elemental Adept for Thunder and Lightning, if you like. Probably a good idea, depending, again, on how picky your DM is, for that Warcaster, or even just to kind of give yourself that advantage on concentration saves, because you're more than likely going to be in the thick of it if you're playing a Thor type character. All right, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know what you'd like to see more of, less of, and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much.